In the episode The Initiation, when Ryan finally quits and leaves Schrute Farms, Dwight drives up next to him and offers him a whittled gift from Moe's.
Ryan, come on. I am sorry. I am sorry. Moe's is sorry too. Look, he sent over a basket with eggs and some fatback bacon. And look, something he whittled.
Now guys, I didn't work this part out myself. This popped up on a Reddit post some time ago and I saved it to come back to it later because the figurine that Moe's whittled is a Venus of Willendorf figure. Now according to Wikipedia, it is an 11.1 centimeter or 4.4 inch Venus figurine and it's estimated to have been made 25,000 to 30,000 years ago. It was found in 1908 at a Paleolithic site near Willendorf in Lower Austria. I've included a link to the wiki in the description if you guys want to know a little bit more. Now, what's most striking about this is historians and archaeologists aren't entirely sure of what this figurine means or, what exactly their cultural significance were. And the fair assumption is that they are some sort of fertility figure or symbol, but ultimately no one is definitively sure. Now, this ambiguity doesn't exactly help us in providing direction for our investigation. But there are two elements that help us understand this reference. The first element, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, is the questions this raises around time travel. For those new to the channel, we covered the significance of time travel in the office in the extraterrestrial time traveling task force overview. And we covered how Dwight has time traveling capabilities and they are harnessed via his Terminator-styled sunglasses. So immediately seeing a figurine like this does raise questions about how far back in time has Dwight actually traveled, and could this actually be a figurine from 30,000 years ago as opposed to something whittled by Moe's? Now, these questions are going to be revisited throughout the investigation, but they're not really what we're focusing on here in this particular video. It's the second element that I really want to focus on, which is the Venus of Willendorf appearing in Silence of the Lambs. As the movie is reaching its apex, we have the infamous scene of Buffalo Bill putting on makeup and we see Bill in harmony with his psychopathy. It's during this scene's initial build-up that Bill puts on two necklaces with pendants and the second one is a Venus of Willendorf figurine. Now again, for those new to the channel, we covered the significance of movies in the Great Scott Film Forensics overview. Movies referenced are done so to communicate specific concepts to us relating to the Scranton Strangler mystery, and these concepts can come from pivotal scenes or pivotal moments or narrative or the primary theme. There's a number of different ways the creators communicate to us via these movies. A good example that we recently touched on is Star Wars. We see Dwight dressed as a Sith Lord, but we also have a lot of references to Yoda in the show, right? So our job as detectives is to decipher what the creator's trying to tell us, and one of those moments in Star Wars is this scene.
Always two there are. No more, no less. A master and an apprentice.
Now, the significance of this scene is that there are two Scranton Stranglers, and if you haven't seen that episode, I've linked it up here for you. And that movie provided us with additional evidence to support our hypothesis. So following this same Dunder code, the creators are bringing to our attention two elements from the movie Silence of the Lambs, at least. We have the infamous face being cut off the dummy scene, which is paralleling Dwight to Hannibal the Cannibal.
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Which I very momentarily implied at the end of Why Dwight Loves Boobs and Beats. And this is going to get its own episode, guys. We're not going to really expand on that in this video. It's this second and more subtle reference to the Venus of Willendorf I want to discuss. It really points us in the direction to this moment when Buffalo Bill is having his transsexual fantasy. So the question for us is, what are the creators communicating to us with this reference? Now, just a quick quick trigger warning for those of you who might need it, because some of these conclusions may not be entirely agreeable to you. But there is a very strong motif in the show around transsexuals and transvestites. Gabe is advised by Michael how to look less like a transvestite.
Can I give you a piece of advice? A little cover-up on your Adam's apple will make it appear smaller, which will make you look less like a transvestite.
Michael calls Phyllis Tranny Claus.
Ho, ho, ho! Why pay more to sit next to old Tranny Claus over there?
This image of Hedda Schrute, something that seems to have just flown over a lot of people's heads. At the suit warehouse, Dwight tells us an interesting story.
Women don't despise me.
Oh, his last girlfriend was a transvestite. I knew it right away. Adam's apple like the prow of a ship, thumbs like a lowland gorilla. But this one couldn't see it, or didn't want to see it.
In the episode Healthcare, somebody puts down inverted penis.
Number 1, inverted penis.
And really the best example of them all is Dwight telling us that he can retract his penis up into itself.
I've trained my major blood vessels to retract into my body on command. Also, I can retract my penis up into itself.
Now, there might be more references, guys. These are the ones that quickly come to mind. If more come to your mind, please put them in the comments. Now, Dwight's explicit reference is really the most telling, as it suggests some sort of transient transsexual capability, as opposed to being a real transsexual. To go back to Silence of the Lambs, if you've seen the movie, Buffalo Bill is described by Hannibal Lecter as not a real transsexual.
Billy is not a real transsexual. But he thinks he is. He tries to be. He's tried to be a lot of things, I expect.
So it's safe to assume that Dwight isn't one either exactly. But the link has definitely been established here, and I would say confirmed by Dwight's admission of being able to retract his penis up into itself. So the question for us, and I can't give you the answer today, but the question for us is, where does this fit into the Scranton Strangler mystery?